1.
Yeah, all the time. My headphones are glued to my ears. I like all kinds of stuff as well. Reggaeton, hip-hop, even some pop.
2.
Not as much as I'd like to, because I really love it, especially musicals. I mean, I do go now and then, but the seats are so expensive I can't afford to go more than a couple of times a year.
3.
Very rarely, to be honest. I guess I might in the summer, if it's very hot. I find it a bit boring, just going up and down the pool. It's not really my kind of thing. And I'm not very good at it either.
4.
Probably less than I think I do, if you know what I mean. It's off and on in the background, you know. But I don't pay much attention to it most of the time. I do sometimes watch the big matches if they're on, and the occasional film. But apart from that, most of it's rubbish.
5.
Yeah, I guess so. I usually play football on a Wednesday, and I go running now and then. I generally cycle to college as well, unless it's raining.
6.
No, not as a rule. I tend to watch films on demand through my TV at home. Oh, and I download quite a lot of stuff too.
7.
Yeah, at the weekends, of course. I go shopping, go to the cinema, go clubbing sometimes. I don't tend to during the week, though, because I have to get up early for school and I've got homework, and basically my parents prefer me to stay at home.
8.
Not as much as I used to. I was addicted to this online game for a while, until I started to realize it was a problem. I'd sometimes play for 5 hours a day. I sometimes play other games now, but I've learned to control it all a bit more.
1.
Catchy. It's a very catchy tune.
2.
Hilarious. It's hilarious.
3.
Commercial. It's very commercial.
4.
Disturbing. It's quite disturbing.
5.
Over the top. It's really over the top.
6.
Gripping. It's so gripping.
7.
Uplifting. It's a really uplifting story.
8.
Weird. It's really weird.
9.
Astonishing. It's just astonishing.
10.
Dreadful. It's absolutely dreadful.
1.
Once a week.
2.
Now and then.
3.
Watch at home.
4.
The special effects.
5.
To be honest.
6.
Loads of times.
7.
By the end.
8.
Check it out.
So, what kind of things do you do in your free time?
I guess films are my main thing.
Really? Do you go to the cinema much then?
Oh, all the time. I mean, I go at least once a week, but I'll often go 2 or 3 times.
Wow, that is a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it depends what's on, of course.
Right.
What about you? Do you go much?
Now and then, if there's something I really want to see, but I'm happy just to watch at home.
Really? But if you're watching an action movie with all the special effects, don't you want to see it on the big screen?
Yeah, I guess, but to be honest, I'm not that keen on action movies anyway, so...
Really? I mean, what about the Avengers films or Batman, stuff like that?
Yeah, the Suicide Squad was okay, I suppose, but I'd rather see other things.
Actually, there was this great Korean film on TV last night, Old Boy.
Oh yeah, I started watching it, but I turned over.
You didn't like it?
Not really, it was so over the top. That scene where he eats the live octopus, I don't know. It was all a bit too weird for my liking. Didn't you find it strange?
I guess it is a bit, but that's what I like about it. They actually did an American remake of it, but I prefer the original. I've seen it loads of times.
Really? Okay. As I say, it's not really my kind of thing. I prefer a good drama. So what other films are you into?
Oh, all sorts. I mean, I'm really into action films and stuff like that, but I'll watch most things, really. As I say, I go most weeks, so, you know.
Have you seen Green Book?
Yeah, have you?
No, but I've heard it's good. I should probably try and catch it sometime.
Yeah, you should. It's astonishing. Oh, I was in tears by the end.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's quite upsetting in places, quite disturbing, but the two main characters are just incredible. And it's based on a true story as well, I think.
I'll check it out then.
Yeah, you should. Honestly, it's brilliant.
Now, if you follow me through into the next room, we come to two paintings by a 17th century Dutch artist who was both widely admired and reasonably successful during his lifetime. Born in Leiden in 1629, Gabriel Metsu moved to Amsterdam around 1655 and produced over 40 major works. Sadly, though, he died at the age of 37, at a time when his career was going particularly well, and since then he has been rather forgotten, which seems a bit of a shame, to be honest. These two pieces were meant to be hung together as companion pieces. In the painting on the left, a young man is writing a letter, and on the right we see a young woman reading a letter. The viewers are supposed to understand that he's composing a love letter to her and that here she's digesting it. On the surface, these may look like fairly conventional, fairly realistic pieces, but look more carefully and you soon realize that they are actually very open to interpretation. The man appears to be a member of the upper middle classes, and his surroundings create the impression that he's well-traveled. Through the open window we can see a globe in the room behind him, and there is an expensive Turkish rug on his table. To his right, there is an Italian-style landscape hanging on the wall, which suggests he's a man of the world. Meanwhile, the woman, who is also expensively dressed, seems to belong more to the domestic world. Painted in bolder colors, she looks calm and content as she reads. However, not everything is as it first appears. Beneath the surface of the calm domestic world lies trouble. In the foreground of the painting, we see a shoe. Perhaps the suggestion is that the woman was so excited to receive her letter that she jumped up and didn't even notice it had come off. To the right of the picture, we see the woman's maid pulling back a curtain, behind which we see two ships on a stormy sea. This could well be a symbol of the difficult, stormy nature of love, especially when partners are separated. Look carefully, and you'll notice too that the servant has another letter to deliver, presumably to the man shown here. Although he's depicted in darker, more subtle shades, there are visual clues that the man is also experiencing strong emotions. The rich red of the cloth and the bright light pouring in through the window suggest he has a heated mind. The underlying message now seems clear. Passion can disturb and disrupt.
A world of difference.
Back in 2020, the South Korean film Parasite made history by becoming the first ever non-English language film to win the prestigious Best Picture award at the Oscars. Directed by Bong Joon-ho and set in Seoul, the film is a sharp satire about two families from very different classes. One who live in poverty in a basement flat, and another very wealthy family who live in a huge house on top of a hill. Indeed, many feel that it was the focus on tensions around social divisions that made the film so popular with audiences around the world. However, the success of Parasite is simply the tip of a much bigger iceberg. Over recent years, there's been an explosion of non-English language films, driven largely by the desire of major streaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and HBO to expand their global reach. Local language programming has helped attract new users as the platforms move into new markets, and shows from places like Germany, France, Spain, and South Korea have all been popular both in their home countries and elsewhere. With more than 60% of Netflix viewers now outside the US, maybe it's not surprising that series such as Lupin, Squid Game, and Money Heist were so popular when they came out. One of the main reasons for the success of many shows is the fact that dubbing technology has improved dramatically. This means it's now possible for people to watch films in their local languages, and the dubbing is no longer anything like as dreadful or as funny as it used to be. In addition, the growth of interest in non-English language content perhaps reflects a desire for different stories and for more variety and creativity. Viewers also seem to enjoy finding common ground across different cultures. While American films are still big business at box offices everywhere, it is perhaps no real surprise that these changes are coming at a time when Hollywood is increasingly reliant on remakes of old classics, sequels to earlier successes, and superhero movies. So, as Hollywood becomes less ready to take creative risks, audiences are looking elsewhere for original entertainment.
Egypt.
One of the most successful Egyptian movies ever, at least within the country itself, is 2018's El Badla, The Suit. The film is usually described as an action comedy, and the plot revolves around the adventures of two friends who are both struggling with their careers. They get invited to a get-together of old school friends, which they both wrongly assume is a fancy dress party. They decide to dress up as police officers, and before long, they realize that everyone thinks they're the real thing. Aware of the opportunities this now offers them, they carry on wearing the costumes in their daily lives, not realizing the danger this will lead them into. A series of crazy adventures follow until they are finally forced to deal with some dangerous gangsters and corrupt cops. The film was so successful that in 2018 it became the first Arabic language film to be screened in Saudi Arabia for 35 years.
Denmark.
The most successful Danish film ever is The Purity of Vengeance, the fourth crime thriller in a series that is based on Jussi Adler-Olsen's hugely popular Department Q murder mystery books. As with many Scandi dramas, the story starts with the discovery of some dead bodies, and the investigation that follows uncovers some dark parts of the country's history. In particular, detectives focus their investigations on a small island called Sproa, where women who didn't act according to strict social expectations were sent to live and work, against their will, right up until the 1960s. The film has a great cast, the main characters are beautifully developed, and it's very gripping, with enough twists and turns to keep you on the edge of your seat the whole way through. The film is fast-paced, and whilst it is obviously very commercial, it also manages to tackle serious issues around sexism and power in society and the need to face the past.
Thailand.
While many films fit fairly neatly into a particular genre, the highest-grossing Thai film of all time, P-Mark, really doesn't. Perhaps best described as a romantic comedy horror with a difference, the film was an astonishing success not only at home, but all across Asia. P-Mark is set in the 19th century and draws on Thai legends and folklore. The plot isn't easy to summarise, but in short, the hero, Mark, returns from a war with 4 friends he has saved from certain death. He invites them to meet his wife and his young son, who was born while he was away fighting. However, before long, the friends come to realise that little is what it seems to be in Mark's village, and even with his family. Don't be fooled, though, the film isn't as dark as this might suggest. There are plenty of laugh-out-loud funny moments, and at the heart of the film is a strangely moving love story.
Brazil.
While the Brazilian film industry has gone from strength to strength over recent years, nothing has been able to compete with a smash hit series of comedy films, Minha Mãe é uma Peça, My Mom is a Character. The first film was released in 2013, with the sequel coming 3 years later. The plot in both revolves around a mother who feels that her kids don't appreciate her, and so decides to take action and reclaim her life. However, it is the third film in the series that has been by far and away the most successful, as the now divorced supermum of the title prepares for life without her many kids, who are now all leaving home and starting new lives. A word of warning though, despite being about family life, it may not be ideal family viewing, and it contains a fair bit of swearing and some very adult themes.
1.
Historic. A historic area.
2.
Hideous. An incredibly hideous monument.
3.
High-rise. A high-rise building.
4.
Residential. Live in a residential area.
5.
Rough. Quite a rough area.
6.
Stunning. It's a stunning building.
7.
Trendy. It's a very trendy area.
8.
Knock down. Knock down that building.
9.
Base. Embassies base their offices there.
10.
Date back. Date back over 600 years.
11.
Keep an eye on. Keep an eye on your bag.
12.
Open up. More shops and restaurants will open up.
13.
Do up. Do up that old building.
What a lovely day.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? It's been a really warm autumn.
So, where are we?
Well, the bit we've just been through, with all the high-rise buildings, is what we call New Belgrade. It's quite a popular area these days, and lots of businesses have moved here over recent years. Now, I don't know if you can see it or not, but just behind us, over to the right, is the arena where all the big concerts and sports events are held. It's one of the biggest entertainment venues in Europe.
Wow. Okay, right.
You might have seen it on TV. It's the place they held the European basketball finals a few years ago.
Oh, right. To be honest, I'm not really that keen on basketball. It's not really my kind of thing.
No? Oh well, fair enough. Anyway, now we are crossing over the river Sava into Old Belgrade.
Wow, the river looks wonderful.
Yeah, it's great. In the summer, we often go out on little boats or have dinner down by the waterside.
Oh, that sounds lovely. And what's that big bridge over there?
That's the Ada Bridge. It's not that old, actually. It only opened about 10 years ago.
It looks great.
Looks even better when they light it up at night.
Hmm.
And just down there, there's a little street called Gavrila Principa Street, which is where Manakova Kucha, Manak's house, is located. It's a kind of cultural museum, and it has an amazing collection of old national costumes and jewellery and stuff.
Okay, I'll check that out if I have time. What's that building over there?
Oh, that's St. Mark's Church.
Wow, it's a stunning building. How old is it?
Not that old, actually. It was built in the late 1930s or something, but it's on the site of a much older church. It contains the tomb of Stefan Dusan, who was perhaps the greatest Serbian emperor ever.
Oh, okay.
And if you want to walk around here later, you are quite close to the Kalemegdan Fortress, one of the most historic buildings in Belgrade. There's the Victor Monument up there as well, which was put up after the First World War. It's one of the city's most famous landmarks.
Right. Well, I'll have to remember to take my camera with me up there then.
And now we're coming up to Dedinje, which is one of the wealthier parts of the city. It's where all the celebrities and the old aristocratic families live, and a lot of the embassies are based here as well.
The houses are lovely round here.
Yeah, they're amazing.
1,
It's nice, isn't it?
2,
It's been a really warm autumn.
3,
It's one of the biggest entertainment venues in Europe.
4,
It's not really my kind of thing.
1.
Honestly, if I had my way, we'd be just sitting in a cafe and watching the world go by. But Paul likes to take something back for the family. It's such a waste of money. Just look what's on display here. It may all be handmade crafts, but it all looks just incredibly ugly to me. I bet local people never have this stuff in their homes. I mean, oh, good grief, here he comes. What is that? I've no idea why he's looking so pleased with himself. And there's no way that'll fit in our hand luggage. I think I'm going to have to accidentally drop that on our way to the airport.
2,
I hadn't particularly wanted to go on it. They kept insisting, and in the end, I gave in. I was actually fine on the first bit, but it seemed to just keep speeding up, and all those spins and twists. The kids were screaming with laughter, but I was just screaming in fear and couldn't wait to get off. Honestly, I thought I was going to throw up.
3,
We had found a place, and although the money's very tight, we thought we could afford it. But then next day we heard someone from out of town had put in a bigger offer. We're seeing another place tomorrow, but the same thing is bound to happen because it's such a competitive market, with people wanting a holiday home or to escape the city completely. I grew up here, and it is a bit upsetting to think that my choices are to either move away or to be stuck with my parents forever.
4,
I'm glad to announce that our plans for this new hotel resort and spa are due to be approved next week, despite the opposition. Our arguments were accepted, but I apologize if you faced any protesters as you arrived today. Apart from the jobs we'll create in the resort itself, the development is likely to attract tourists to the whole region, so everyone will benefit. And just from a selfish point of view, I think a lot of us will be happy to finally have a decent golf course round here.
5. Hi Maria, it's Andrew. I'm here at the tickets office and I've got the tickets. You know there are restricted numbers and I was afraid they'd sell out. I mean, the main collection of vintage vehicles is always interesting, but this exhibition on Formula 1 is supposed to be amazing. Anyway, I'll wait here, but let me know how long you'll be. It opens in an hour, and I want to go in before it gets too busy. One.
It's going to boost the club's income.
2.
I'd listen to his stuff all the time when I was younger.
3.
I'm sure it will be worth it in the end.
4.
It's likely to present a huge challenge in the coming years.
5.
It's due to be completed in 2020.
6.
It might take years to repair the damage.
1.
Nails. A hammer and nails.
2.
Screws. A drill and some screws.
3.
Brush. A dustpan and brush.
4.
Bucket. A mop and bucket.
5.
Thread. Needle and thread.
6.
A bandage. A big bandage.
7.
Scissors. Some nail scissors.
8.
Cloth. A dishcloth.
Conversation 1. What's the name of that stuff you use to put posters up?
Can you be a bit more specific?
Yeah, sorry, I mean that stuff. It's a bit like chewing gum or something, but it doesn't actually feel that sticky.
What, you mean blue tack?
Yeah! Is that what they call it? Conversation 2.
It's, what do you call those things climbers use? They're made of metal. They're like a hook.
What? You mean the thing you use to connect yourself to the rope?
Yeah, they have a sort of clip thing that opens and shuts. You see people using the small ones as key rings sometimes.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I don't know. Do they have a special name? Aren't they just clips?
I brought you a present.
Wine?
No. I know you don't drink. No, it's Californian grape juice. I had some at a friend's the other day, and it was really delicious.
Really?
Apparently, they have all sorts of varieties.
Yeah? Well, thanks. Shall we have some now?
Sure. Have you got a corkscrew?
Ah, that's a point, actually. I'm not sure I have. Let me have a look. There's so much stuff in these drawers. Most of it's rubbish. I really should clear it out. I don't think there's one here. Can't you use a knife?
I don't think so.
You need a stick or something to push it down. Would a pencil do?
It wouldn't be strong enough.
What about a wooden spoon? You could use the handle.
Yeah, that should do. Let's see. Oh no!
Oh, it's gone everywhere.
Sorry. Have you got a cloth?
Yeah, I think we need a mop and bucket as well.
Sorry.
Don't worry about it. These things happen. You might want to rub some salt into that shirt or it'll leave a stain.
Really?
Well, it works for other things.
Hello. Welcome to Rights and Reason. On today's show, we'll be discussing the importance of dealing with customer complaints, the government's proposed new laws on data protection, and we'll be talking about the hazards of buying a second-hand car. Our first item came out of a post on the Rights and Reason webpage from a listener, Faye Hun. Last month, Faye bought a pair of shoes in a well-known store. When he opened the box at home, he discovered one of the shoes had an insole missing. Faye says he put off going back to the store because he didn't want the stress. In fact, he says he even thought about keeping and using them, but unsurprisingly found them too uncomfortable to walk in. So eventually he took them back, and this is where the problems really started. The assistant told him it wasn't company policy to sell individual parts separately, and that he should have checked the shoes at the point of sale. He was even accused of losing the insole himself. The assistant said he could only prove this wasn't the case by checking the CCTV cameras after the store closed that day. Faye left a contact number, but heard nothing and went back 3 days later. After explaining the situation again, this time to the store manager, Faye was finally offered a new insole. Unfortunately, when he got home, he discovered it was the wrong size, at which point he gave up. Now, to discuss this case and the wider implications for customer services. To discuss this case and the wider implications for customer services, we have John Squire from the Institute of Customer Care. Welcome, John. So what do you think of this case?
Yes, thank you. I mean, clearly Faye shouldn't have been treated like that, and given the final outcome, what exactly have they achieved? It's almost a perfect example of what not to do.
But was he just unlucky? Was it just one bad shop assistant?
Well, possibly, but it can be a sign of a deeper problem in the company. In some shops and companies, a culture can develop where staff see complaints as the customers causing problems. They think the customer is being deliberately awkward or even trying to cheat the company. That means the assistants don't really listen to the customer or take the issue seriously.
Okay, so are you saying the customer is always right?
No, not at all. There are instances of people complaining repeatedly in order to get compensation and extra benefits. And, of course, sometimes the customer is at fault. However, you should always start from the view that they do have a valid claim and allow them to speak. Listen. Consider what the customer wants. Also consider what's the cost of resolving the situation, even if you do have doubts. I mean, in Faye's case, even if he was lying, and who on earth loses part of their shoe, how much would replacing that part cost?
Indeed. And there's a bigger cost to poor care, isn't there? Your institute's produced some interesting statistics on this recently. I mean, it's cheaper to keep customers.
Absolutely. Estimates suggest the cost of retaining a customer is a fifth of the cost of finding new ones, and customers are actually 4 times more likely to use or recommend a service again if a problem is sorted out efficiently.
And the recommending is important to remember too.
Absolutely. Even if your business doesn't deal with lots of regular customers or repeat visitors, I don't know, like in a tourist attraction, for example, the best advertising is word of mouth. And that also means treating all customers equally, kids, tourists, whoever, because they can all give recommendations.
Are poor attitudes to customers only an issue here?
Well, probably not, but I know that some cultures do have a different approach. In Japan, for example, if people complain, it's in the spirit of improving a service, rather than seeking compensation. We say complaints should be seen in this way here too, as a gift. For every person who complains, there'll be 25 who are also dissatisfied but who said nothing. A person who complains has made an effort. They are providing valuable feedback and show how you can improve products and services. Companies often pay to get feedback, and here they're getting it for free. In short, the message is, take customer care seriously, whoever the person is, and train staff to do it well.
John Squire, thank you very much.
1.
Well, possibly, but it can be a sign of a deeper problem.
2.
There are instances of people complaining repeatedly.
3.
However, you should always start from the view that they do have a valid claim.
4.
Even if you do have doubts.
5.
Absolutely. Even if your business doesn't deal with lots of regular customers or repeat visitors.
6.
Well, probably not, but I know that some cultures do have a different approach. Should I worry about my friend's collecting habit?
Following my last post about a friend's Star Wars obsession, several readers expressed concern about the habits of people they know. Some sounded more like my friend with a keen collecting habit, while others showed signs of the genuine psychological condition of hoarding. There's a fine line between the two, and collecting can sometimes develop into hoarding. So, how do we distinguish between them, and when should we worry that someone has crossed that line and things are getting out of hand? Well, research by psychologists has now helped to identify 4 main areas of difference. The main focus for hoarders is with keeping stuff, whatever value it might appear to have. Often it's literally junk from the street, but it may include more valuable things, such as piles of clothes which they've bought and then stored in a room with the price tag still attached. Collectors, on the other hand, typically have a clear motivation for collecting, even though their reasons may seem strange to others. For example, Graham Barker, who is listed in Guinness World Records for his collection of navel fluff, the tiny balls of cotton you find in your belly button, explained that he started it out of curiosity. It was basically an experiment to answer the question how much one person might collect in a lifetime, 22 grams over 32 years apparently. Others, like Gladys Palmera, the world's biggest collector of Latin music, say it comes from a search for excellence. Rather than having a negative impact on their quality of life, it's about discovering forgotten artists and promoting the music she's loved since childhood, when her Panamanian father would bring back records from his business trips. Both collectors and hoarders may need a lot of storage space, and in Gladys Palmera's case, that means hundreds of meters of shelving in her home near Madrid to display her 100,000 or so albums. She recently had an exhibition displaying some of the 3,000 items in her collection in an IKEA store in London. Kelly Blythe, British collector of Pez sweet dispensers, arranges national gatherings for collectors to come together and share their pride and joy. But this is the point. Collectors want to show off what they've acquired because they're proud of it. Collectors also tend to carefully arrange their things in alphabetical order or in clear categories, like Kelly Blythe's Pez collection in the photo, while hoarders' belongings are more likely to be untidy and chaotic. Their stuff is often piled all over the place, often taking over whole rooms that can no longer be used, and at worst, they turn their homes into a health hazard. This untidiness can make hoarders feel ashamed. As a result, they stop inviting people home, which reduces their social contact and can lead to social isolation. The opposite is often true of collectors, who frequently establish lifelong friendships through sharing their passion. My Star Wars friend met his partner at a Comic-Con, and he subscribes to various online forums and video channels where his friends comment, debate, and share videos of favourite pieces or an unboxing of their latest acquisition. Finally, hoarders typically refuse to get rid of anything and feel genuine distress if forced to, a feeling that psychologists say is connected to a fear of loss. In fact, the disorder can be triggered by the death of a loved one. Obviously, many collectors also feel strong attachments to certain items that they wouldn't sell at any price. However, most see swapping or trading pieces as part of the excitement of their hobby. The collector John Resnikov set up his own auction house based on his interest in autographs, rare books, and famous people's hair. Collectors can even be quite willing to give up their whole collection. Gladys Palmera hopes to give hers away to someone who will allow the same access to it as she does. And as for Graham Barker, he eventually sold his navel fluff collection to the entertainment company Ripley's.
1.
Be in power. Since she's been in power.
2.
Bureaucracy. Cut bureaucracy.
3.
Recession. Gone into a recession.
4.
Punishment. Have more punishments.
5.
Tackle. Tackle the climate crisis.
6.
Booming. The economy's booming.
7.
Corruption. Tackle corruption.
8.
Boosted. Boosted our reputation.
9.
Opposition. The opposition parties.
10.
Make ends meet. In order to make ends meet.
11.
Investment. A lack of investment.
12.
Debt. Pay back the debt.
So what do you think of your president?
Oh, I don't really like him, to be honest.
Really? Whenever I see him on TV, he looks good. He seems like someone who wants to make a difference.
It's all image. I mean, when he gained power, he talked a lot about tackling the climate crisis and boosting opportunities for young people. But they've almost done the opposite.
Really?
Okay, they banned plastic bags and made a big thing about setting tough targets on climate change. But since then, they've increased investment in roads and cut tax on gas. It makes no sense.
I know what you mean. Something similar happened here too.
And as for opportunities for young people, they've just put up the fees for university. It costs about $10,000 now.
Wow. How do you manage? Isn't the cost of living really high too?
Tell me about it, especially rent. It's so expensive. I just have to hope I can find a decent job.
And what is the job situation like?
Well, if you listen to the government, everything is brilliant. Since they've been in power, we've avoided a recession and we've created millions of jobs. But from what I see, so many of those jobs are insecure and badly paid. People are just getting into debt in order to make ends meet. And with so many people in debt, who knows what might happen?
I see. So when's the next election? Can't you vote against them?
It's next year. But I'm not sure it's going to be worth voting.
No. The opposition don't have other policies?
Yeah, they do. But I don't know. Can I trust them?
I know what you mean. But it's always worth voting. I mean, like, our government has done a few controversial things. Stuff I didn't agree with. But you know, they've done good things as well. I mean, the economy's really booming.
Maybe you're right. Or maybe I should think about going to your country after college.
You should. Honestly, there's such a skill shortage that companies are paying really good money now. They're desperate for people.
You don't think the language would be a barrier?
Not necessarily. Quite a few multinational companies have set up here recently, and they all use English. And anyway, you'd pick up the language after a while. They've actually done a lot to cut bureaucracy too, so it's much easier for people from other countries to get work here now.
Yeah? I would like to work abroad someday, so thanks for the tip.
1.
I don't know how people can make ends meet.
Tell me about it. I only earn enough to cover the basics, and I've got a good job.
2.
The job market is so competitive at the moment.
I know what you mean, but if you're prepared to be flexible, there's plenty of work.
3.
The pace of life is so fast here.
I know. It's exhausting. I feel like I spend my life just rushing around.
4.
There's so much crime. You can't go out at night.
Yeah, maybe. Mind you, it's not like that everywhere. If you avoid certain areas, it's perfectly safe.
5.
They haven't done anything to boost tourism.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Mind you, look what they've done to improve poor areas. That's great.
6.
This country is so bureaucratic.
Tell me about it. I had to fill in 4 forms in 3 different places to be able to work here.
1.
A new law. Similar moves have been taken if the bill's passed.
2.
Investigating an assault. Believe the incident was the scene of the attack.
3. Launch an initiative. The plan aims. The idea has already had. 1.
A new law that could see social media companies defined as publishers is being debated in Parliament today. Publishing companies are responsible for checking facts, whereas social media companies currently aren't. Similar moves have been taken in the EU in an attempt to reduce fake news and hate speech online. If the bill's passed, social media companies could be sued for lies and abuse posted on their platforms.
2.
Police today are investigating an assault on a young man which has left him seriously injured in hospital. Police believe the incident was racially motivated based on evidence from security cameras which caught a group of youths running from the scene of the attack. Anti-racist campaigners are planning a march at the weekend in support of the victim.
3. The government will today launch an initiative called Housing First. The plan aims to reduce the number of people living on the streets by simply giving them a flat without conditions. It doesn't matter why the people ended up on the street. The idea has already had success in Finland, where it's national policy. It has massively reduced homelessness and led to savings in other areas such as health and policing. 4.
A woman at a leading law firm has won an unfair dismissal case. Judith Fenton took the company to court when she was sacked after revealing she was pregnant. The company had claimed it was struggling and cut other jobs at the same time, but the court rejected the argument and awarded £20,000 in compensation. According to one campaign group, there are over 50,000 similar cases every year, but only around 1% take legal action.
5.
10 people were arrested today in demonstrations demanding the introduction of a new law giving rights to nature. Countries such as Mexico, Panama, and New Zealand have similar laws, which allow legal action on behalf of habitats damaged by human activity. Demonstrators stopped traffic into the capital as some glued themselves to roads. It took police 5 hours to remove them all. The government said they oppose the idea and called the protests foolish and dangerous.
Making the world more equal.
Research suggests that the more equal a society is, the happier the people are and the less poverty there is, so reducing inequality is key to meeting other sustainable development goals too. Here are 6 ways it could happen.
1. Investment in schooling.
Reducing income inequality may start from educating everyone to a similar level, which is why investing in schools is so important. For example, since Namibia gained independence from South Africa in 1990, it has spent a greater percentage of its budget on education than almost any other country in the world. The result is that poverty has more than halved, down from 53%.
2. Prevention is better than cure.
Governments may decide to build hospitals to improve health, but some countries have taken a different route. Back in the 1980s, Thailand chose to spend money on local medical services and preventative measures instead of new hospitals. More recently, Costa Rica established a similar program of healthcare teams working in the community. In both cases, death rates fell as access to healthcare rose dramatically. And both countries have seen their economies grow, with Thailand also managing a 23% cut in inequality over the last 30 years.
3. Include everyone in the economy.
Of course, not all health issues can be prevented. 15% of the world's population have a permanent disability, but unfortunately, they are often discriminated against and change is slow. The EU has an annual award for cities which make transport and public spaces more accessible to wheelchair users. Some countries, such as Germany, also give support to companies who employ people with disabilities. However, to make a bigger impact, we need more affordable support for people with disabilities and for their carers in their homes.
4. Money for everyone.
Obviously, increasing minimum wages might reduce inequality, but others argue that an even better solution is a universal basic income, UBI, where every citizen receives a regular payment without conditions to spend as they wish. Countries such as Canada, Kenya, and Spain have tried out UBI in certain communities, giving monthly payments of between $35 and $1,000. Despite opponents' fears, the results of these experiments show people tend to work the same amount and don't spend money on addictions. In fact, people receiving UBI usually see improvements to their physical and mental health, and children in their communities are more likely to succeed in education.
5. Get the wealthiest to contribute more.
As well as raising incomes for members of society with the least resources, governments could also lower wealth at the very top. In theory, higher taxes on high earnings discourage the acquisition of excess wealth, and it may also have the benefit of reducing high-end consumption, like private jets. What's more, the greater the tax, the more governments can do to tackle inequality in health and education, if they can collect it. In the US, in the 1960s, there was a tax rate of 90% on a yearly income above $400,000, around $4 million today. But since then, as the rate's been cut, inequality has risen.
6. Make tax and trade fairer.
But collecting tax can be difficult, especially where different countries have different tax rates. For example, many multinationals often avoid paying tax by a system called mispricing, whereby one part of the company, in a low-tax country A, charges a very high price for the services it provides to a different part of the company in a high-tax country B. This means the company may actually make a loss in country B and pay no tax there at all. According to some research, African countries lose $14 billion a year in this way in the mining industry alone.
1.
You use a sort of brush thing to clean it.
2.
When I switched it on, I found it was faulty.
3.
You should have been offered a replacement.
4.
Prices have risen so much, we can't make ends meet.
5.
The lower the tax, the greater the incentive to earn more.
6.
When it comes to coffee, the stronger, the better.
1.
Work up a sweat.
2.
Build up my stamina.
3.
Get out of breath.
4.
Eating junk food. Stop eating junk food.
5.
Uncoordinated. Totally uncoordinated.
6.
Out of shape.
7.
Chill out. Chill out and take it easy.
8.
Have a lie-in. Have a long lie-in.
1.
What are you up to later?
Oh, I'm going to a belly dancing class.
You're doing what?
Belly dancing, you know, like...
Yeah, I know what it is. I just had no idea that you did that.
Well, I don't really. It's actually the first class.
Oh, okay. So why belly dancing?
I've been thinking about doing something to get a bit fitter, and I've never liked sport particularly. I find jogging and swimming and stuff like that a bit boring, you know? And then I saw this class advertised and I thought it'd be fun.
Right, got you. I should probably do something as well. I've done hardly any exercise since January.
Really? You'd never know. You look fine.
Well, I don't feel it. I'm really unfit as well. I had to run for the bus this morning and it took me about 10 minutes to get my breath back.
Well, why don't you come with me?
Oh, I don't know. I think I'd feel a bit self-conscious.
Come on. You can't be worse than me. I'm totally uncoordinated. It'll be a laugh.
Well, maybe.
2.
Are you around this weekend at all?
Not really, no. I'm going to a judo workshop all day Saturday.
You're going where?
To a judo workshop. It's like a masterclass with this top Japanese teacher.
Wow. I didn't even know you did judo. How did you get into that?
Oh, we actually used to do it at school. In PE, we had the option to try out all kinds of sports, and I just really got into it. And then I joined a club, and then I started competing a bit more seriously, you know?
I had no idea. Well, what about Sunday? I'm going to have a wander around the big street market in the morning.
To be honest, I think I'm just going to have a lie-in and chill out at home. I'll be exhausted after Saturday.
Fair enough. Just the thought of doing that kind of exercise makes me sweat.
3.
What are you doing this evening? Do you fancy meeting later?
No, I can't. I've got my knitting group tonight.
You've got what?
My knitting group.
Since when?
I've been doing it for about 6 months now. I took it up because I was going through a very stressful period at work and a friend suggested doing it. She said it'd help to calm me down, so I joined this group and it's been really good. I feel much less stressed now, and I actually really like the knitting. I just find it very, very relaxing.
Okay, but isn't it all just women in this group?
Well, I guess I am the only man, but given that I work in such a male-dominated area, it's actually nice to just mix more and meet new people. You should try it yourself. Get out and meet some different kinds of people.
Yeah, maybe.
1.
I thought it'd be
2.
It took me about 10 minutes to get my breath.
3.
It'll be a
4.
How did you get into
5.
have a wander around the big street?
6.
Just the thought of doing that kind of exercise makes me
7.
Do you fancy meeting?
8. She said it'd help to calm me. 9. I just find it very, very 1.
I thought it'd be fun.
2.
It took me about 10 minutes to get my breath back.
3.
It'll be a laugh.
4.
How did you get into that?
5.
Have a wander around the big street market.
6.
Just the thought of doing that kind of exercise makes me sweat.
7.
Do you fancy meeting later?
8. She said it'd help to calm me down. 9. I just find it very, very relaxing.
I must go and send my cousin an email in a minute.
Oh, okay.
I'd been meaning to go round and see him because he's not been well, but Kyle's a bit reluctant to drive me round there because it would mean spending time with my uncle.
Really? What's wrong with him?
He's just a bit odd, that's all.
He's not, he's just...
Annoying?
No.
Eccentric in the extreme? Exhausting?
Chloe, just ignore him. Kyle, you can be so horrible sometimes.
Listen, Chloe, the last time we went to see him, he had a thing about handstands. We were sitting outside a cafe, just having a coffee and chatting, and he suddenly just got up and did a handstand right next to all the tables. He kept it up for about half an hour.
That does sound a bit unusual. How old is he?
About 50.
50?
I told you. He's not normal.
Oh, come on. He's just one of these people who can't sit still. I mean, he's always loved sport, and when he does something new, he really gets into it. Like, he took us ice skating once. Do you remember?
How could I forget?
I mean, we were exhausted after about an hour, but he just kept on skating, and we watched him going round and round for another hour.
It was like he'd just completely forgotten we were there. And what about the hang gliding?
Hang gliding?
Yeah, he used to go hang gliding. Obsessed with it, he was. He went practically every weekend for about 3 years.
Until he had an accident. He fell something like 1,000 meters without a parachute.
You're joking.
No, it's true.
So, what happened?
Well, he'd borrowed someone else's glider for some reason, and they didn't have a parachute, but he went up anyway. And he was caught in really bad weather, and the hang glider broke and he fell.
And he wasn't badly injured?
Well, he went through some trees, which broke his fall. He had hairline fractures in his shoulder and his neck and some minor cuts and bruises, but basically he was okay. He was incredibly lucky he didn't die.
Absolutely.
Anyway, then we saw him about 3 weeks later roller skating in the park, even though he still had his neck in a brace.
But he did give up the hang gliding after that.
Not exactly, no. He tried it once more to overcome any fear. I mean, he just wanted to prove to himself he could do it. But since then, no. The last few years he's been really into windsurfing. He's actually always liked it. He did it when he was younger. But the last few years, that's been his main obsession. He lives on the coast, so he goes nearly every day.
Right. I'm starting to think Kyle might be right.
And you haven't heard all of it. For the last few months, he's been rubbing lemon juice into his skin and his hair every day. He says it gets rid of dandruff, and he was going on and on about how amazingly healthy it is.
Okay, it's true. He is a little bit odd, but he's a nice guy and he's fun to be with.
In small doses. Sport and why I love it.
Record numbers of people do no sport at all, while others don't even watch it. Let's look at the 5 main reasons they're missing out.
1. Healthy body, healthy mind.
The first reason may be obvious, but it's still worth repeating. Sport keeps you in shape. Moreover, people who are physically fit are, on average, happier. In fact, the British Health Service has recently experimented with giving people suffering from mild depression a course of exercise instead of medication.
2. Preparation for life.
A second reason is that sport makes you mentally stronger. Now, I'm not talking here about those odd non-competitive sports that some schools insist on, no winners, no losers, and everyone gets a prize. Not only are such games dull and pointless for children, but life just isn't like that. Competitive sport teaches us to cope with losing and disappointments. Sure, we're not all naturally sporty, but then I'm rubbish at crosswords. You just have to find your own level and learn to enjoy your own performance. You can feel the same sense of achievement as Real Madrid winning a game by beating an opponent who is at a slightly higher, though still low, level than you. Similarly, I'm happy completing a puzzle others would find easy.
3. It's social and fun.
What would we do without sport? Read? Play computer games? Hang around on the street? Obviously, these aren't necessarily all bad things. Reading in particular brings many benefits. But the first 2 are hardly social, and the last not that interesting or purposeful. This brings me neatly to my third reason for playing sport. It helps to build relationships and teaches the importance of supporting each other, whether you win or lose. After bad games, players sometimes bond by comparing injuries they got. In the same way, sports fans often enjoy sharing the pain of their team losing almost as much as the joy of winning.
4. Fairness and honesty.
Just to go back to hanging around on the streets, if you need proof that it's not that fun, why do so many of those kids end up in trouble? It's simply out of boredom, something which sport can often provide a solution to. So making sport more widely available is good for society. It also benefits society by showing children the importance of rules and moral choices. Of course, people cheat and perhaps you've been denied the chance to win something as a result. You think, I shouldn't have stuck to the rules, then I would have won. However, the rules are the sport. And you know if everyone starts cheating, the game falls apart and stops being fun. That's how we learn about making the correct moral decisions in sport. But we also learn why, in life, cheats are looked down on or excluded.
5. Sport is life.
One final point I'd like to make here is that sport doesn't just involve learning about life. It is life. I play tennis. I'm basically fairly hopeless, regularly serving double faults or weakly hitting the ball into the net. However, there are moments when somehow everything comes together and I hit a great shot down the line or serve a clean ace. I suddenly feel like a world beater, and it's a great feeling, even if the next ball flies miles out. Isn't life all about having those feelings? And sport, playing or watching, provides many of them. No one looks back at the end of their life and says, I should have worked more, I could have bought a better car, or I'll never forget that time my kids watched TV. No, what we remember are things like Usain Bolt smashing the world 100-meter record in Beijing, beating everyone else so easily that he could actually slow down in order to start celebrating 10 meters before he crossed the line. And we're more likely to think, I should have played with my kids more, or I wish I'd done more sport.
1.
Muddy. The whole place was really muddy.
2.
Filthy. Everything got filthy.
3.
Stunning. We had a stunning view.
4.
Efficient. The service was really efficient.
5.
Unbearably hot. The weather was unbearably hot.
6.
Overlooked. It overlooked a building site.
7.
Overwhelming. It was quite overwhelming.
8.
Dump. The place was a bit of a dump.
9.
Facilities. The facilities were incredible.
10.
Isolated. It was quite isolated.
11.
Deserted. The beach was deserted.
1.
Have you ever been to Hungary?
Yeah, I went to the Sziget festival a couple of years ago.
You went where?
The Sziget. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's an enormous music festival in Budapest. It's held on this island in the middle of the Danube.
Oh, right. So where did you stay?
We camped on the festival site. It was a bit of a nightmare, actually, because it absolutely poured down while we were there. The whole place was flooded and we got absolutely soaked. Tent, sleeping bags, everything. And it was so muddy. Everything got filthy. Oh, it was crazy.
Couldn't you stay somewhere else?
Well, we actually did in the end. We met these really nice Hungarians who lived in the city, and they put us up for a couple of nights.
Wow, that was generous. So, would you go again?
Absolutely. We had a great time, in spite of the weather. I hardly slept the whole time we were there. There was so much going on.
2.
Did you go away in the holiday at all?
Yeah, I went to Turkey.
In August? Wasn't it a bit hot?
It was absolutely boiling. But then I love the heat. And you get quite dry heat there.
I guess. So, did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was brilliant. We stayed in this absolutely amazing place on the south coast, right on top of the cliffs overlooking the sea.
Sounds nice.
It was. Wait, I've got a picture of it somewhere on my mobile.
Oh, let's have a look. Wow, look at that sunset. That's stunning.
I know. It was like that nearly every night.
That's great. Were there any other places nearby? It looks as if it's in the middle of nowhere.
It was a bit isolated, yeah. It was a few kilometres along this narrow track to the nearest village. Well, town. But they had a minibus to take people there in the morning and to bring them back in the evening.
Wasn't that a pain, having to rely on the bus? Didn't they run more often than that?
No. It was a bit annoying, but considering how cheap the place was, you couldn't complain. And there was a little beach near the hotel. There was a path down between the cliffs, and the beach was almost deserted, which was lovely.
I'm not surprised. Sounds like hard work.
It was a bit of a struggle climbing back up, but it was worth doing once.
I guess. It doesn't sound like my kind of thing, though.
1.
Have you ever been to Hungary?
2.
Oh, right. So, where did you stay?
3.
Couldn't you stay somewhere else?
4.
Would you go again?
5.
Did you go away in the holiday at all?
6.
Did you enjoy it?
7.
Were there any other places nearby?
8.
Didn't they run more often than that? One often hears that something was a culture shock, most often when people arrive in a new country, but also when they enter other kinds of new environments. However, it is usually described as being similar to jet lag, something that you experience for a couple of days and then get over, with the suggestion being that all you need is a good night's sleep and then you'll be fine. The reality is, however, that undergoing any big change, whether it's moving house, changing jobs, or going to university, will bring about a culture shock. Far from being a single event which is quickly forgotten, it is rather a process which may take several months, even years, to fully recover from. The psychologist Dr. Kathy Sang-Fain calls this process acculturation and highlights 4 distinct phases that nearly everyone goes through. These are elation, the joy and wonder you first have, where everything is so new and different. Resistance, when things settle into a routine and you start to see everything which is bad in your new situation. You start looking back through rose-tinted glasses on your life before the change. This resistance is then followed by the transformation phase, where you swing more to the other extreme and start looking down on your previous existence and its culture. You may refuse to mix with people you used to know or who speak the same language. You might start to see them in a more negative light when you do. Finally, people reach a state of integration, where cultural differences are acknowledged and accepted, and people appreciate both their own heritage and their new life. In an ideal situation, everyone goes through these 4 stages, but not everyone finishes the complete cycle. This can cause problems because they often don't recognize the phases of acculturation. For example, some people drop out of university in their first year, saying they don't relate to the middle-class values or that it has nothing to do with reality and so on. In reality, these opinions are actually a symptom of the resistance stage. In other cases, people get stuck in a transformation phase, which may stop them moving on to new experiences or lead to them cutting themselves off from their roots, from people they've known for years and years. That can lead to a deep sense of unhappiness and to feelings of frustration.
1.
I have a booking under the name of Bergen.
I'm sorry, sir. We have no record of any reservation.
That can't be right. I spoke to someone just over a week ago.
Well, did you receive a confirmation by email or text?
Should I have?
That's our normal procedure, yes.
No, I haven't had anything.
Well, I'm afraid there's nothing I can do.
Haven't you got any rooms available?
I'm afraid not.
That's great, that is.
2.
Hello. I was wondering if you could help. My room is not very warm. Is there any way I can turn down the aircon?
I'm afraid it's all controlled centrally.
Can you seriously not do anything about it? I mean, you seem to have it on full blast. It's absolutely freezing.
I'm sorry, but we haven't had any other complaints about it.
3.
What do you mean you're not going to give us our deposit back?
Well, as I'm sure you'll appreciate, the damage is going to have to be paid for somehow.
Damage? What damage? The place is in the same state it was in when we moved here.
Well, you see, I can see you've used blue tack on the wall. I'm guessing you had posters up in here, probably.
Yes, but...
Well, look at all the marks. That'll all need cleaning and repainting.
Well, I hardly think that's worth a whole month's rent.
It's not just that, though, is it? It's a combination of things. There have been knocks to the paintwork, there's general wear and tear. When you take everything into account, it soon adds up.
What? To over £1,000? You're taking the mickey. I can't believe you think we're going to pay that. It's ridiculous.
4.
I told the landlord the roof was leaking time and time again.
I know. I remember you telling me about it ages ago.
And he promised it'd get fixed, but they just kept putting it off. Look, this wall is dripping wet. Honestly, I'm furious about it.
I'm not surprised. Still, I think you were right to have it looked at and get it repaired. I mean, it's not good to live in such a cold, damp place.
No, I know. And the damp's not good for the property either, is it?
You'd think they'd understand that. Really?
The thing is, though, it's left me completely out of pocket now.
1. Greetings from Singapore.
Hi Jane, just a quick email to say I've arrived and am slowly finding my feet. It's been an absolutely mad few days. Got off the plane and was immediately hit by the heat. Just unbearably hot and humid. I was picked up at the airport by David, who works for the company. He was taking the mickey out of me a bit in the taxi because he said I looked like a little boy who'd just arrived from the countryside. I suppose I probably did, as I sat there gazing out of the window with my mouth hanging open. I mean, it's so different. It's a bit overwhelming, but in a good way. Anyway, after a couple of days of getting over my jet lag and orientating myself a bit, I started at work. Mind you, I haven't exactly been slaving away at my desk. I seem to have spent most of my time being taken out for lunch, meeting people and partying. It's been pretty wild. I'd better start doing some proper work soon, or the company will wonder what they're paying me for. Anyway, they've already sorted out an amazing apartment for me. 15th floor, stunning view. So that's all gone very smoothly. I already know I'm going to love it here. How are things with you? Matt.
2. Too little time.
Hi Jane, sorry it's been a while. Things have settled down a bit since I last wrote. In fact, I've been working fairly long hours. People just don't seem to stop here. When I used to travel into London from the country, I thought the pace of life there was pretty fast, but here it's completely ridiculous. Then there's the heat. It's so hot and humid here, I seem to be sweating all the time and I can only get to sleep with the air conditioning on full. I've also found the office culture a bit of a challenge. All the different variants of English are quite hard to cope with, and when I do understand people, I'm often shocked by how direct and to the point they are. Luckily, though, I've made friends with this guy who joined around the same time as me, and we go out and have a moan about things and just generally share our frustrations. David calls us the moaning twins, but who cares what he thinks? To be honest, I'm already thinking of leaving. I honestly can't bear it. I never thought I'd miss home so much. Call me sometime soon. Matt.
3. Why go back when you can go forwards?
Hey Jane, I know I said I was going to be back in England over Easter, but then I thought, why go back to the miserable weather, terrible food and dull conversation? In the end, I sold my plane tickets online and used the money to travel round Southeast Asia a bit. There are some amazing places to visit, and I've now seen quite a bit of Malaysia and Indonesia. The people are so much more in touch with their culture here. It's made me realise that back home, people just aren't interested anymore. It's all reality TV and celebrities. Have you ever thought of coming out here? There's a lot to be said for it. Life's a lot easier here. I have all my laundry done through a service in my block, and someone comes in and cleans my flat every day. It's not like the poor service you get in England. It's far more efficient. People just take more pride in what they do here. And as for the food, honestly, I don't know how you lot eat the bland rubbish that gets served up there. Singapore is miles better. Anyway, I must dash. I've got my Mandarin lesson in 10 minutes. Matt.
4. Surprise, surprise.
Hi Jane. Hope this address still works for you. I bet this is a bit of a surprise. It's my fault, of course. I realise I've isolated myself a bit. If you're annoyed with me and don't want to know or respond, then fair enough. Anyway, this is just to let you know that I'm going to be over in England, and it'd be really good to get back in touch and introduce you to my wife and new son, Huang Fu. See picture attached. Email me. Matt.
1.
I've been meaning to go there for a while.
2.
She's had her hair done.
3.
I shouldn't have put it off for so long.
4.
It was a bit of a nightmare, to be honest.
5.
You should have told me. I could have dealt with it.
6.
I've been struggling to keep up.
1.
Flashes. Flashes of lightning.
2.
Thick. The fog was really thick.
3.
Lift. Wait for it to lift.
4.
Unbearable. The heat was unbearable.
5.
Freeze to death. I thought I was going to freeze to death.
6.
Blown down. Several trees were blown down.
7.
Clouded over. It suddenly clouded over.
8.
Rainbow. There was an amazing rainbow.
9.
Eased off. It eased off after a couple of hours.
10.
Hail. It turned to hail.
11.
Settle. It started to settle.
12.
Slide. We saw another car slide.
13.
Non-stop. It rained non-stop for a week.
We got caught in this incredible storm on our way to visit friends in Rome.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was amazing. One moment we were in sunshine, the next we saw like a line on the road ahead, and we drove through it and it was hail. Incredible. These enormous hailstones just started bouncing off the car. They were as big as golf balls. Honestly, they were hitting the car so hard they nearly broke the windscreen.
Really?
Well, maybe I'm exaggerating a bit, but they were pretty big and it was pretty scary.
I bet.
And then the lightning started. It was lighting up the whole sky. In the end, we pulled over to the side of the road till it all blew over.
Right.
And then it cleared up again, almost as quickly as it had started.
It's amazing, isn't it? It actually reminds me of a time I was in Sardinia. We were visiting this little village somewhere, the name of which escapes me. Actually, I guess we should have realised because it had been boiling all day, very humid and sticky, and then in the evening we were just taking a walk along the beach. You get this great view across the bay to Alghero.
Uh-huh.
And anyway, suddenly we saw this incredible forked lightning across the bay, followed by a faint rumble of thunder, and it just continued. It was so spectacular, we were just, transfixed watching it because, it was still dry where we were. It was amazing. I could have watched it for hours, but then suddenly it started spitting. And then, just 2 seconds later, the heavens opened and it started pouring down.
Oh no.
And of course, we hadn't brought an umbrella or anything, so we just ran to the nearest cafe we could find. And honestly, it can't have been more than a minute, but we got absolutely soaked. I must have poured something like 1 litre of water out of my shoes.
Incredible.
I swear, sitting there in the cafe, I think it was the wettest I've ever been.
1,
I think it rots the roots.
2,
They're just so invasive.
3,
There was a bit of an awkward silence.
4. Some of them are lethal, aren't they? 5,
I've never had fennel.
1.
Oh dear, those don't look very healthy.
I know. I bought them to cheer up the flat a bit. You know, a bit of colour and greenery. But they just look depressing now. It's strange. I've been watering them every day.
Maybe that's it. The soil's probably too wet. I think it rots the roots.
You're joking. You mean I'm drowning them?
I guess so.
2,
What are these flowers? They're lovely.
They're terrible.
Why? What do you mean?
They're just so invasive. They take over the whole place. None of the other plants can survive, and they're really difficult to get rid of as well.
But they look so nice.
Yeah, but they're not native to this country, and they're destroying the local varieties.
That's too bad. I still like them, though.
3,
I wanted to take my host something to say thank you for having me to stay, and so I bought some flowers.
Fair enough.
Anyway, I handed them over, and you know that feeling when you suddenly realise you've accidentally upset someone, yeah? The woman kind of gave me this tight smile and nodded, but, they were quite a big bouquet.
You kind of expect something different, yeah?
Exactly. Anyway, she said something to her husband, and he took them away, and there was a bit of an awkward silence, and then we just carried on with the evening.
How weird.
Yeah, I thought so. But then I was telling someone about it, and they told me people there only give those flowers when someone's died.
Oh no.
It was like I was cursing her or something, hoping she'd have a funeral.
4. You're going to do what?
Gather mushrooms. Isn't gather right?
Yeah, gather, pick, whatever. It's just, I don't know, I've never met anyone who does it.
No? Everyone does it here in Poland. Why don't people do it in Britain?
Well, it's dangerous, isn't it? Don't you worry about picking the wrong one and poisoning yourself. Some of them are lethal, aren't they?
We are brought up doing this. We know from when we are children what's okay and what's not. And it's good. You feel more connected with nature. Last time we went, we saw a deer really close.
Yeah? Wow. It sounds great. 5.
Here, take this. It should help.
What's in it?
It's just a herbal tea my gran makes. It's basically fennel seeds and leaves with a touch of lemon and honey. She swears by it.
I've never had fennel.
It's nice. It's got an aniseedy kind of taste. It's great. It'll really settle your stomach.
1. A.
There's an insect that attacks the roots of the tree, causing it to die.
B.
There are many problems affecting the country, but the root cause is the poor education system.
2. A.
I have several tomato plants on my balcony, but they're not doing very well.
B.
The film is basically about the police trying to find out where the bad guy has planted a bomb.
3. A.
She worked as an actress for years without much success, but since winning the Oscar, her career is blossoming.
B.
The best time to go is in spring, because of all the blossom on the trees.
4. A.
Most people agree that the economic crisis stemmed from mistakes made by the banks and the high level of private debt.
B.
If you cut the stems of the flowers underwater, apparently the flowers last a lot longer.
5. A.
You need to take a leaf out of your sister's book and do a bit more to help people.
B.
I love this time of year, when the leaves have turned red and yellow but haven't fallen yet.
6. A.
We don't think there is much room for growth in this market, so we're thinking about areas we might branch out into.
B.
A big branch was blown off in the storm and landed on our car.
7. A.
I bought some seeds to grow some herbs in my kitchen, but I haven't planted them yet.
B.
It's just the seed of an idea at the moment. I haven't really got very far developing it.
Abandoned cat ensures business's success.
An abandoned cat has saved a restaurant from bankruptcy and ensured its ongoing success. The Diorama restaurant in Osaka was originally set up to show off the elaborate model railway built by the restaurant's owner, Naoki Teraoka. But Teraoka's business ran into trouble during the pandemic, and he was at the point of going bankrupt when a tiny ill kitten turned up. Teraoka took pity on the abandoned animal, and it was soon joined by the rest of its family. After giving shelter to the abandoned cats, he took photos of them walking around his models, like the great Godzilla monsters from the famous Japanese movies, and started posting the photos on Instagram. They got an instant response, and he soon had visitors from all over coming to the cafe to see the cats for themselves. The business is now booming. Cat cafes were already a big thing in Japan, and their popularity has been increasing worldwide. People who are unable to keep pets due to lack of living space or strict rules by landlords can pay to come in the cafe and pet the animals. Other visitors come with a view to adopting a cat if they find a good match. Mr. Teraoka has now also set up a shelter, which has rescued over 100 more abandoned cats.
Splendid frog sounds alarm.
The splendid poison frog of Panama was officially declared extinct last month, despite efforts to save it. Although the frog, a member of the poison dart frog family, had been hit by a disease, the extinction is considered mainly the result of human activity. The frog's habitat in humid cloud forests had been severely reduced as trees were cut down for their timber and in order to create farmland. It had also been a target for smugglers who would capture and sell the frog to collectors attracted by the species' brightly coloured skin. The event has been offered as further evidence that the Earth may be entering a sixth great extinction, which could see hundreds of thousands of species die out and may eventually threaten humanity's own survival. Unlike previous great extinctions, such as when the dinosaurs died out, the current crisis is largely man-made and could, according to experts, be stopped, if not reversed. New laws could protect vital habitats, while ongoing research could find cures for diseases affecting endangered species. There are also more radical initiatives, such as a program in Colombia where poison dart frogs are bred for collectors at a cheaper price than those smuggled from the wild. Sadly, such initiatives are too late for the splendid poison frog, but hopefully not too late for other poison dart frog species.
Victory in bullfighting fight.
The Spanish Parliament has voted to lift a ban on broadcasting live bullfighting on the state-run channel RTVE. Alongside giving space in the early evening schedule for live bullfights, the proposal calls for space to be given to documentaries and reports on the sport. The lifting of the ban will be seen as a victory by bullfighting fans in an ongoing debate about the sport, which they see as under threat. While there were over 1,400 bullfighting festivals in Spain last year, with more than 3 million spectators, the numbers attending are in decline, and a recent survey by the BBVA Foundation found 76% of the population were opposed to the use of bulls for fighting. The bullfighting industry is also threatened with rising costs, and it depends on festivals being subsidised by local government and on the European Union providing upwards of €20 million a year to bull farmers. However, many of these subsidies are being reviewed and may end altogether. While opponents highlight the cruelty of the sport and argue it is unsuitable TV viewing for children, supporters insist it is a popular art form and a celebration of risk and bravery which has a special place in Spanish culture. It's an argument which, in Parliament at least, supporters of bullfighting have won.
Controversial research lab finally opens.
A controversial animal research laboratory funded by Oxford University has finally opened after the project was delayed by 16 months because of threats and intimidation by members of extremist animal rights groups. The first company involved in the construction of the lab decided to pull out of the project amidst fears for the safety of both site workers and the firm's board members. The £18 million centre will bring together researchers from various parts of the university to carry out experiments investigating conditions such as cancer, heart disease and diabetes. The university says the centre will provide better care for the animals used in the experiments, 98% of which are rats and mice, and 0.5% primates such as monkeys. There's been ongoing controversy since the project was first announced. Campaigners against animal experiments, also known as vivisection, held regular demonstrations claiming that vivisection is cruel, unreliable, and unnecessary. However, more radical activists in the anti-vivisection movement also tried to intimidate people involved in the project by publishing their addresses online and sending threatening letters. Other groups then responded with demonstrations in support of the centre. While the university says they are looking to reduce the need for animals in research, scientists insist the centre will play a vital part in finding cures for diseases that affect millions of people.
1.
How was your holiday?
Fine, apart from getting robbed.
Oh, you're joking! What happened?
Well, it was stupid, really. I should have been more careful. I was sitting in a cafe and these lads came up to me with a map asking for directions. I said I didn't understand and they walked off. Then I suddenly realised my bag was gone.
Oh, no!
I'd left it under my chair and one of them must have grabbed it while they were talking to me.
That's terrible. Did it have much in it?
Fortunately not. My purse was in my pocket.
Still, it can't have been very nice.
Yeah, it was a bit upsetting, but I didn't let it spoil the holiday.
Well, that's good.
2.
Who was that on the phone?
It was the bank. They wanted to know if I'd spent $800 in Manila.
Manila? That's like 5,000 kilometres away.
I know. I guess someone must have got hold of my card details somehow.
Sure, but how did they manage to get it halfway round the world?
Apparently they have machines which can swipe the card and grab all your details. Then they just sell the details to whoever over the web.
Right. So, have you got any idea when it happened?
No. I mean, it could have been when I bought those new trainers on the internet, but then again, it might equally have been in the local supermarket.
You reckon? Maybe you should just pay for everything in cash.
Yeah, right. That's not very practical.
I'm just saying. Anyway, what about the money? Will you get it back?
Yeah, they said it's fine.
That must be a relief.
It is. Conversation 3.
What are you reading?
Oh, it's just about all these animals and stuff they've seized this year.
Oh, right.
No, it's incredible. Look at this picture.
Oh, my word, that's awful. There's a whole elephant. Why would you want a whole stuffed elephant?
I don't know, but it says it's worth 200,000, so someone with more money than sense.
And a large living room.
Exactly. Get this, though. Apparently, they raided a motel room and they found this guy with 2 live crocodiles in the bathroom and a lion in the back of a van outside.
No.
Yeah.
Imagine if someone had gone in to clean the room.
It'd be a bit of a shock. Do you think he was transporting them together?
It sounds like it. I suppose he must have drugged them. They'd fight otherwise.
I guess. Who do you think would win?
I'd say the crocodile. Didn't you say there were 2 of them?
1.
That's dreadful. Was anyone killed?
2.
That must have been awful. Were you okay?
3. Oh no. Did they take anything very valuable? 4.
That's dreadful. What were the parents thinking?
5.
What a shame. Were you insured?
6. That's terrible. Did you report it to the police? 7.
You're joking. Do they know who did it?
1.
Plunge. It plunged by 70%.
2.
Peak. It hit a peak.
3.
Declined. It's declined since then.
4.
Coincided. It's coincided with an increase.
5.
Correlation. There's a clear correlation.
6.
Soared. Their use has soared.
7.
Led to. It's led to a similar rise.
8.
Decline. The decline in violent crime.
9.
Stems from. It stems from longer sentences.
10.
Played a role. It may have played a role.
11.
Rise. The slight rise.
12.
Ranks. It ranks second.
13.
Account for. It may account for the huge increase.
1.
Based in a jail.
2.
In which he played
3.
at a very young age.
4.
He was convicted of killing,
5.
taking them on tour,
6.
in the long term.
7,
On their release.
8,
On top of this, there's nothing unusual in a film actor first learning their trade in the theatre. What is remarkable, though, is when that theatre is based in a jail, and the film star is still a prisoner serving a life sentence for murder. Agnello Arena first hit the big screen when he starred in Reality, an award-winning film in which he played a simple man whose life is destroyed when he becomes obsessed with achieving fame in a reality TV show. Since then, Arena's had numerous roles in film and theatre, all done on day release from Volterra prison, where he's jailed. Arena grew up in a poor area of Naples, where he became involved with criminal gangs. He committed his first offence at a very young age, and then, at 23, he was convicted of killing 3 members of a rival gang, though he insists he was innocent of the murders. In Volterra prison, he was introduced to drama through the Fortezza Theatre Company, which provides acting lessons to prisoners. The company performs classic and contemporary plays within the prison, but also outside, taking them on tour round Italy. The company's founder, Armando Punzo, believes drama allows prisoners to look inside themselves and deal with difficult personal issues, which means they can achieve potential they didn't know they had. That was certainly the case for Agnello Arena, and the Fortezza Theatre Company may well point a way forward to reduce crime in the long term. In many countries, public opinion and political pressure often demand harsher punishment for criminals. But evidence suggests this tough approach doesn't do much to reduce reoffending. For example, in the UK, where prisoners get long sentences and are often locked in small cells most of the day, almost 40% will commit a repeat offence within a year of release, and over 70% reoffend within 9 years. Norway used to have a similar rate, but it's now down to just 20% after a year and 25% after 5 years. The Norwegian prison system has some similarities with what the Fortezza Theatre Company does. Rather than placing an emphasis on punishing inmates, both give more attention to rehabilitation. Norway has no death penalty and a maximum sentence of just 21 years, so prisons are more about preparing prisoners for their eventual release than simple punishment. Bustøy, the nation's only island jail, is a good example of this approach. Prisoners are provided with meaningful work and the resources and responsibility to develop themselves. For example, literacy classes are a priority, as a lack of reading skills is seen as a prime reason why young people drop out of education and fall into crime. In Bustøy, prisoners also have access to classes on everything from IT skills to trades such as carpentry or plumbing. All this helps ensure prisoners are employable on their release and therefore less likely to reoffend. On top of this, Bustøy prisoners are encouraged to meet and interact with people from outside prison, which is believed to also aid rehabilitation. The Fortezza Theatre Company is also providing prisoners like Agnello Arena with new skills and interaction with the outside world.
Rigorous policing brings down crime.
Jonas Grautzer, a police officer from Riga in Latvia, gets out of his car to stretch his legs. While the nightlife in the old town is as lively as ever, for him it's been a quiet night. He's had to break up an argument and take a report of a stolen phone, but that's about it. He smiles when asked if it's a typical night. It's generally like this, yes, but I'm told 30 years ago it was very different. In the 90s, there were many more problems. Crime and policing has changed a lot. And the statistics tell the tale. Although by EU standards, Latvia's crime rates are relatively high, they have been falling fairly steadily and violent crime has plunged, with the country seeing a 70% decrease in murders from their peak in 1993. Similar trends have happened in many countries, and it's led to a debate about the causes of falling violent crime and if it'll continue. Are people simply getting nicer?
Education.
Some argue that through increasing awareness of issues, people are being turned off crime. Campaigns against drug and alcohol abuse have been successful in that young people are less likely to try illegal drugs than previous generations. This has resulted in less theft, which had previously been carried out to feed addictions. Some have also pointed out that the fall in crime has coincided with an increase in the number of people going on to further education. Education, it is argued, makes us more civilized.
Distraction.
However, it is not clear that education is the main cause. The vast majority of criminals are young and male. There is an argument that if young men are kept busy, they are less likely to commit crime. Involvement in education is one factor. The same argument may also explain recent findings that the popularity of video games may account for a percentage of the drop in crime. Essentially, when people are absorbed in a task, they are less likely to cause trouble.
Demographics and environment.
The point that crime is fundamentally a young person's activity has also made researchers speculate that population changes have played a role. It is argued that crime peaked in the 1990s as a result of the children of the 1960s and 70s baby boom reaching their 20s. More controversially, it has been claimed that the banning of lead in petrol in the 70s is a factor, as previously the lead particles were released into the atmosphere and breathed in. Increased levels in the blood and brain are known to be associated with violence.
Technology.
While such environmental theories are not widely accepted, there is more agreement that technology and prevention have played an important role in the fall in certain crimes. For example, with more sophisticated locking systems installed in cars, it's far more difficult to steal them. Furthermore, in the past, car crime acted as a gateway crime, an easy first crime to commit, which might lead to further involvement in more serious things. Remove the opportunity to start a life in crime, and you reduce the number of criminals. Having said that, technology is also facilitating new types of crimes, such as identity theft, though perhaps these attract a different kind of criminal.
Prison and policing.
Other researchers argue that the fall in crime stems from jailing more people for longer and from better policing. They point to the success of programs in Los Angeles and New York, where police use statistical analysis to identify crime hotspots. Once identified, police focused on these small areas to arrest criminals and discourage incidents.
The Riga experience.
Proving causal links when assessing crime is always problematic, not least because correlations are rarely consistent. For example, in several countries, an increase in the prison population has coincided with the fall in crime, but this is not always the case. While Latvia fits the pattern, neighbouring Estonia reduced its prison population and still saw a similar fall in murders. In the case of Riga, police targeted key establishments and drove out criminals. Their success allowed legitimate businesses to return, as well as wealthier local people to move in. In addition, Latvia has experienced falling birth rates, while numbers of university students have almost tripled. More police and better training have also improved relations with the community, and a multilingual section has been established to work with the increasing numbers of tourists. The more confidence the public has in the police, the more likely they are to help with inquiries. More recently, as people have worked more at home, there's also been a reduction in property crime. Not that everything is perfect. Pickpocketing and internet fraud have increased, and the police themselves receive more complaints. However, Jonas Grauser is happy. If people complain, it shows the public trust us, and less violence means my wife worries about me less.
1.
Someone might have got hold of your details.
2.
They must have broken in through the back door.
3.
There's no point in trying to look for them.
4.
It was pouring down and then it turned to hail.
5.
I got soaked because I'd forgotten to bring a coat.
6.
I was standing there, and this guy came up to me and grabbed my bag.